Gentlemen, let's be real. There's a question that lingers in the back of many men's minds after 60, but almost no one says it out loud. How often should you be masturbating at this stage of life? Is it still okay to do it every day? Should you slow down, stop altogether? You've probably heard all kinds of advice. Some say, as much as you want, while others say, don't do it at all. Deep down though, you're looking for a real science-based answer. I've spent over 10 years as a urologist, hearing men share their worries, frustrations and confusion about this very topic. And I can tell you this, there's no one magic number that works for every man, but there is a frequency that suits your body, your energy, and your health. The truth is, masturbation later in life isn't just about release, it's connected to your circulation, your hormone balance, your prostate health, and even your emotional well-being. By the time we finish talking today, you'll know the safest rhythm for your age and body, how to recognize if you're doing it too much or too little, and how to keep it a positive part of your health, instead of something that leaves you worn out. This isn't about shame. It's not about old myths. It's about understanding your body's needs and working with them so you can enjoy your sex life for many years to come. To truly know how often you should be masturbating, you first need to understand why the amount matters in the first place. Masturbation isn't just a quick, isolated action. It's a process that involves your whole body. The moment you feel aroused, your heart rate starts climbing, your blood vessels open wider, and your pelvic muscles begin a series of rhythmic contractions before finally releasing. Meanwhile, your brain is directing a flood of chemicals, dopamine for pleasure, oxytocin for connection and calm, and a mix of other neurotransmitters that affect everything from your mood to how deeply you sleep afterward. Your prostate also plays a key role, making and releasing fluid as part of your natural sexual function. This release isn't only for pleasure, it's a kind of upkeep. Like any gland, the prostate stays healthier with regular activity, keeping its tissues in good shape, its ducts clear, and its blood flow strong. When you were younger, you could go through this whole process and be ready again in no time. Your blood vessels bounced back quickly, your hormones leveled out fast, and your nervous system recovered without trouble. But after 60, your recovery system slows down. Blood doesn't move as fast, testosterone levels may not stay as steady, and your nerves can take longer to return to normal. That's not a reason to quit, not at all. It just means you need to find a pace that gives your body enough time to recharge between sessions, so each one stays satisfying instead of draining. If you go too long without any sexual activity, your erectile tissue may lose some responsiveness, your pelvic floor muscles can weaken, and your mood might dip because you're missing out on those feel-good hormones that come with climax. On the other hand, if you do it too often without rest, you might feel tired, notice less sensation, or even have some irritation in your prostate area. The key is finding that sweet spot, a rhythm that keeps your sexual health strong without slipping into overuse. Science gives some helpful clues about where that sweet spot could be. In one well-known Harvard study, researchers found that men who ejaculated regularly, about 4 to 7 times per month, had a lower risk of certain prostate issues compared to men who rarely did. This steady activity helps prevent buildup in the prostate, keeps blood flowing well through the area, and maintains the flexibility of the arteries that supply blood to the penis. It also ties directly to nitric oxide, a molecule your body needs for erections. Nitric oxide relaxes and opens blood vessels, letting blood rush into erectile tissue. Without enough of it, even if you feel aroused, your body might have trouble getting the firmness you want. The challenge is that nitric oxide naturally decreases with age. That's why regular but not excessive sexual activity can be a vital part of keeping your system responsive. But here's where it gets personal. Your ideal frequency depends heavily on your recovery capacity. A man who exercises regularly, eats nutrient-rich foods, stays hydrated, and sleeps deeply may be able to enjoy himself more often without negative effects. In contrast, a man managing health conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or chronic fatigue may need more rest between sessions. For most healthy men over 60, a rhythm of once every 3 to 5 days strikes the perfect balance. It's frequent enough to maintain healthy circulation, nerve responsiveness, and prostate function, while still giving your body the recovery time it needs to restore hormone levels, recharge your nervous system, and keep your performance feeling strong and natural. So how do you know if you've crossed the line into too much territory? The truth is, your body is constantly giving you signals. The challenge is whether you're paying attention to them. One of the first red flags is when your erections start to feel noticeably weaker, even when you're genuinely aroused. That's your vascular system, hinting that it's under more strain than it can currently handle. Think of it like overtraining at the gym. The muscles don't have time to recover, so they don't respond as well the next time you need them. Another sign is waking up the next morning with that heavy, sluggish feeling in your body, or a fog lingering in your mind. This isn't just getting older. It's your nervous system quietly saying it hasn't had enough time to fully reset. During sexual activity, your brain and nerves work hard to coordinate arousal, muscle contractions, and the release of pleasure chemicals. Without enough downtime afterward, you can end up in a subtle but lingering state of depletion. Reduced sensitivity is another clear warning. If you find you need more stimulation than usual to feel the same level of arousal, or your climax feels less intense, that's your body waving a yellow flag. It's telling you, slow down, give me a chance to replenish my resources. Overuse can temporarily desensitize nerve endings, making it harder to reach peak pleasure and satisfaction. Some men also notice a dull ache, pressure, or heaviness in the pelvic region. This can be a sign of prostate irritation, essentially, your gland telling you it's been overworked and needs a rest. And let's not forget mood. When dopamine, your reward chemical, is pushed too high too often, your brain compensates by pulling levels back down. The result, a drop in motivation, irritability, or even mild depression once the initial high fades. The good news is, these signs don't mean you've caused permanent harm. They're like the warning lights on your car's dashboard, a signal to ease up and let the system cool down before getting back on the road. A few extra days of rest is often all it takes for sensitivity, mood, and performance to bounce back stronger than before. Now, on the other side of the equation, there's such a thing as not doing it enough, and this is where many men unknowingly harm their long-term performance. The penis is made up of spongy erectile tissue that thrives on regular infusions of oxygen-rich blood. Without consistent erections, whether from partnered intimacy or solo activity, that tissue can lose some of its elasticity and flexibility. Over time, this can lead to microscopic scarring, a process known as fibrosis, which makes it harder to achieve and maintain firmness. Your prostate also benefits from regular maintenance. Just like flushing out old oil from a car engine keeps it running smoothly, emptying the prostate periodically helps reduce congestion, inflammation, and the risk of certain long-term issues. Letting fluid build up for too long can create discomfort, pressure, and even contribute to conditions you'd rather avoid. Without this periodic release, stress hormones like cortisol can dominate, leaving you more tense, less patient, and less motivated. So if it's been weeks without any activity, and you're finding it harder to get or keep an erection, or you're feeling more tension in your pelvic area, your body might be sending you a polite but urgent invitation to get back into a healthy rhythm. So how do you figure out what's truly right for you? The answer isn't hidden in a magic number you read online, or a rigid rule from a chart. It's found in how well you listen to your own body's signals. Every man's physical resilience, recovery speed, and hormonal balance are different, especially after 60. What feels perfectly balanced for one man might be too frequent for another. That's why the best starting point is a practical one. For many men, every 4 days tends to strike a comfortable balance between keeping the system active and giving it the downtime it needs to recover. Once you've picked a starting rhythm, treat it like an experiment. Pay close attention to how you feel physically. Is your energy steady throughout the day? Do you wake up with natural morning firmness? Do you feel a pleasant sense of relaxation afterward without being overly tired? If the answers are yes, you're probably in the right zone. But if you notice you're feeling a little run down, mentally foggy, or your sensitivity is lower than usual, that's your body's way of saying, let's stretch the gap a bit longer. On the other hand, if you go too long without sexual activity and start feeling more restless, tense, or notice that spontaneous erections are becoming rare, that's a clue you might want to shorten the gap slightly. This process is really about self-tuning, adjusting based on feedback from your own performance, mood, and overall vitality, rather than forcing your body into a schedule that isn't natural for you. Think of it the same way you would approach exercise. If you lift weights or run every single day without rest, your muscles never get the chance to rebuild, and your performance suffers. But if you never use those muscles at all, they weaken and lose their responsiveness. Sexual function works the same way. Steady, sustainable use keeps the system strong, flexible, and ready when you need it most. The goal isn't to push it to the limit, it's to keep it in peak condition year-round. Now let's talk about boosting the benefits. Masturbation in later life isn't just about frequency, it's about what you do to support your body before and after. Hydration is a big one. Water keeps your blood volume healthy and your circulation efficient, which directly affects how quickly blood can fill erectile tissue. Even mild dehydration can make your heart work harder and reduce the firmness you can achieve. Regular physical activity also plays a huge role. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. Even something as simple as a brisk daily walk, light resistance training, or gentle stretching can enhance blood flow and keep your nitric oxide levels higher. Nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells your arteries to relax and let blood rush in. Without it, even the most intense arousal signals from your brain can fall flat. And then there's sleep. Quality unbroken sleep allows your testosterone to peak naturally in the morning, which is one reason many men experience their strongest erections shortly after waking. If you're skimping on rest, you're robbing your body of one of its most powerful daily boosts to sexual health. Your diet is the other half of the equation. Think of food as daily maintenance fuel for your vascular and nervous systems. Leafy greens like spinach deliver magnesium and nitrates to keep blood vessels relaxed. Beets are rich in natural compounds that your body turns into nitric oxide. Salmon offers omega-3s to reduce inflammation and keep blood flowing smoothly. And berries pack antioxidants that protect your blood vessels and nerve pathways from age-related wear and tear. When you combine all of these supportive habits with a balanced, personalized sexual rhythm, you create something far bigger than just good performance. You're building a lifestyle that promotes healthy blood flow, stable hormones, and a resilient nervous system, all of which feed into higher energy, better mood, and even greater longevity. That's how masturbation after 60 stops being a guilty pleasure and becomes an intentional, healthy part of your overall vitality plan. So what's the safest frequency for masturbation after 60? For most men, every 3 to 5 days is ideal. Frequent enough to keep your sexual system active, your prostate healthy, and your mood balanced, but spaced enough to allow for full recovery. But here's the truth. The healthiest frequency is the one that leaves you feeling stronger, more confident, and more alive after, not weaker or more drained. That might be a little more often for some, a little less for others. There's no scoreboard, no need to measure yourself against your younger self or anyone else. Your sexuality is still yours. Age doesn't take it away, it just asks you to approach it more intelligently, and when you do, you can continue to enjoy intimacy with yourself and with your partner in a way that supports your health instead of harming it. Remember, gentlemen, your body is not broken, it's evolving, and when you work with it instead of against it, you can enjoy vitality, pleasure, and confidence for years to come.